Avast, me hearties! It be I, your humble pirate captain! And today I found a treasure of wisdom. Something to be cherished and learned from for a change. And what I hope is that to inform you how to use source material in a way that is good. Because what happened was during Comic-Con, a new franchise was announced for Sandman, based on the comic book Sandman. And the daughter of the writer didn't like it. She said it looks the same way as the comic book, but it had none of the DNA. But someone else, the Frank, jumped in to say they used it because source material is fertile grounds for her new exploration. And because there's already a fan base with that source material, it is useful to make an adaptation about it. But here comes Neil Gaiman, and he tells the truth about how source material needs to be treated and how Hollywood is failing the fan bases so very hard, and that's why fans are jumping ship from those ridiculous movies that Hollywood is throwing out there. What he is saying in this tweet is that we come with the source because we like the source material. And if you change the source material, you risk alienating the fans. And that is one of the biggest fundamental problems with Hollywood nowadays. Because they aren't making their own creations. They are just building upon source material constantly with a lot of changes toward it. Let's take, for example, the new improved Star Wars movies from Disney. Spoiler alert, they aren't new and improved and aren't insulting mess to the fans. Because what is the source material for all of Star Wars? It's the original trilogy, where Luke becomes a Jedi, fights Darth Vader, finds out that Darth Vader is his father, and then opposes the Emperor and then wins. That is the source material, and I'll give you an example how to do it well and how to do it wrong. The entire Clone Wars TV series is an example of doing Star Wars well, because it builds upon the fundamentals of Star Wars. For example, one of the arcs of Star Wars: The Clone Wars is the chip arc, where, spoiler alert for that particular series, and it is a very late spoiler alert, but I highly recommend you watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars first. But what happens was one of the clone troopers found out that every clone has an inhibitor chip. That inhibitor chip has Order 66 on it. And he was able to unravel that entire conspiracy. He was unable to unearth the entire conspiracy because he was eventually killed and disproven at the last moment. But it was so suspenseful because they built that entire arc on the Order 66. That's why it worked so incredibly well. But the problem with the new Star Wars is that they do not adhere to the source material. For example, with the light speed ramming. Because of that, it destroys a part of the original source material. Because we now know that lightspeed ramming is a viable tactic, able to destroy fleets and huge space objects like Death Stars. So the rebels could have used just unmanned ships and sent them at light speed at heavy duty space stations and star destroyers. Not only that, the First Order comes out of nowhere with the same amount of power as the Empire. It doesn't try to follow the original source material. And because of that, and also because of the fact that the writers do not read any of the extra source material or anything else and pretty much said that that wasn't canon anymore, even though many of the fans still believe that the old Star Wars canon is way better than the new one. And because of that little fact that Star Wars isn't Star Wars anymore, now the numbers are incredibly depleting from Star Wars. Especially after The Last Jedi, the dip really happened, because at that movie, Star Wars jumped the shark. And because they jumped the shark there, Solo didn't do so good. It fell flat on its arse immediately right after Last Jedi, because Last Jedi was such a insult to the fans that the fans aren't interested in Star Wars anymore. And because of that, you are bleeding fans as Disney. The same thing happened to Star Trek Discovery, where you have a 50-year-long canon thrown out for something else. And if you do that, then you have nothing to work with. Because that canon is your fundamentals of your castle. And if you remove those fundamentals, you remove your entire castle immediately and you have nothing. And that's why, for example, the Terminator 2 Judgment Day earned $500 million for a production budget for $100 million. And the latest Terminator movie earned only the half of that for twice the budget. And this happens for all of the other franchises, because you are trying to force a narrative upon us what doesn't make sense in the canon. Everyone is sick of it, and you'll continue to push it without any goddamn reason. Pushing people who even dislike the original source material. I hope Hollywood will finally learn something, or go bankrupt in the process of this entire thing. And I hope you'll have learned something about how to respect source material and how to improve upon it, instead of continuously trying to force us to eat slop that isn't good and takes away from the source material. But I believe that Hollywood will not improve and will continue its safe and secure ways of building upon source material with stories that only take away from the original source material. Anyways, I've been Pirate Captain Toast. This here be me ramble for today, and I wish thee fair weather for sailing. Please send me a parrot on Twitter, follow me on BitChute, jump on my ship on Discord, and leave a bottled message in the comments below. And I wish thee farewell.